YouTube, what's going on? As you can see, we got a lot to work with today, so let's get to it. As always, if you like the content, make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're on the road to 100 subs, and I appreciate everybody that's been checking out the last few videos. It's been a lot of fun. We definitely gonna keep on this YouTube grind, but without further ado, let's get into it. So as I'm getting started and debulking the bag, I just wanted to let you guys know that this cut occurred a couple months ago when I was still getting my feet wet and barbering and everything like that. My uncle has a habit of giving me cuts like these and throwing me to the fire. And what I mean is that he's helpful, but he's not gonna sit there and tell me what to do. So I'm kind of on my own here, and as a newer barber, I'm trying to play it up like I got confidence, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm at this point, as I'm starting this cut, I'm stressing because we don't even know, the customer doesn't even know exactly what we're gonna do with this. So we just here trying to figure it out. So I know that I'm gonna do a taper on the back, but I still don't know what I'm gonna do with the top. So that's why I'm going ahead and lining this up before I got the taper. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set up some framework so I can figure out exactly what the devil I'm gonna do with this. And this customer actually has a good grade of hair. He just has so much of it, and it's all centered up top. Like there was none on the sides, or it was low on the sides, I should say, but he had a lot on top. And we're trying to figure out what to do with it. He asked me to shape it up, but he didn't know exactly what he wanted to do with it. Like, of course, we don't have the back to do an afro, but he also didn't want much of a high top either. So what we end up doing is kind of creating a mix between the two, kind of creating a hairstyle where it's raised up like a high top, but it's still rounded at the corner. So it's kind of like, it'll kind of end up looking like a fro that's just sitting up top on the head. And I'm still trying to visualize this as I'm doing this right here. Right now, I'm just taping the back out. I'm gonna tape the sides as well, and then we're gonna go into the shape up. But I'm just kind of telling y'all my thought process as I'm cutting. Like right here, right now, while I'm doing this, I have no idea how I'm even gonna start the shape up on this head. I have no idea. And some of you more experienced barbers will probably already know how. But like I said, at the time, at the time I recorded this, I was still in barber school, and I wasn't cutting at the school at all. I was coming to my uncle's shop, and he was giving me people to cut. So this is like one of my first few heads, and I'm terrified. I don't know what I need to do. I know my steps, as you see me putting the side taper in. I know the steps to cutting, but as far as actually visualizing what I want to do, I'm still learning how to do that when I'm recording this video. And I'm confident in my taper. I'm liking my taper, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. So I'm starting to pick it out. I'm trying my best to kind of visualize what I want to do with this. As I'm doing this, I'm talking to him about kind of what we want. Like I said, he doesn't like the high top look, like the straight up and then the straight top or whatever. He doesn't like that look. I figured I could do something in the shape of this right here as well and then sponge it, but he wanted kind of more the afro, the tight afro type look. So if it was up to me, I would have shaped it up kind of in this shape here, but I know what he wants, so we're gonna start giving him what he wants. So I'm starting to shape up right here, and you can even tell by my strokes, I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with it. But the point right now is just to get the hair down, get a lot of it off, and then that way I can see what I'm working with. And as you guys see, you'll kind of see my process of how I get it shaped down, get it kind of tight the way you want it, and you will see how it looks in just a minute. And as I'm doing this, I'm remembering last week I did a video on details and how important details are in a haircut. As I'm cutting this now, I didn't see it at the time, but as I'm editing this footage, I'm looking at my taper, and I'm happy with the taper itself, but I look at how dark it is right above the taper. That's detail work. I did all the steps required to do a basic taper, but I didn't pay attention to details. You know what I mean? Like, if I was to cut this head today, it would not be that dark. I would take open 1 or 1.5, and I would hit that. Not because it's a step of the taper, but when it comes to details, when it comes to making the cut the best you can be, you gotta do whatever it takes. And at the time I didn't. So me being in barber school, that's one thing that I had to learn kind of on my own, and with the help of my uncle, is that the school will teach me the steps to cutting, And the book will teach me the steps to cutting, but detail is something that you gotta learn on your own. And that's something that I didn't have here. So that's just something I wanted to point out while I'm cutting this. So at this point, you can kind of see that I have the framework for like a high top fade, but again, that's not what he wants. So what you're gonna see me trying to do here is at the points where it would be really sharp on a high top, like at the top, we're gonna try to round that off instead. So that's why the front wasn't cut down as much as I would on like a normal high top. We're trying to make more of a rounded look. Kind of like an afro, but again, it just sits on top of the head because there's nothing in the back. At this point, I'm just creating something that the customer would like. What we're doing, to me, doesn't fit in the specific gram of an afro. It doesn't fit in the specific gram of a high top, which technically it is, but it's so drastically different from what I'm used to cutting that I don't really even know how I want to finish it. So because of that, you see me stop here and I go ahead and put my line in. I go ahead and get the hairline and everything straight. And then once I do that, I'll come back and finish up the shape up. And that's just me trying to be careful because again, this is my first time even cutting something like this. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I want it. So I'm trying to go ahead and see how it's gonna look next to the line and everything. So I go ahead and get the line done first, and then I'll come back and finish the shape up. But right here, you kind of see the finished shape. Of course, we still got a little bit of bulk that I'm gonna go back and get here in a second. But this is kind of the finished shape. Like I said, it is kind of like an afro, but of course there's nothing in the back. It's just taped in the back. But this is the finished look. This is what we ended up coming up. The customer was actually really satisfied with this cut. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when I show him the mirror here and he's telling me that he likes it, in my head, I'm like, for real? Because one thing that I haven't learned yet as a barber is to be confident. Be confident in whatever you're cutting. Show confidence even if you don't fully have it. At the time I didn't, which is why it took me so long to even show him the mirror. Like this cut probably took 40 to 45 minutes. And a lot of it was just me not wanting to show him the mirror because I didn't even know if he was gonna like what I came up with. But he ended up liking it. When I came to the shop the next week, his auntie was up here to tell me that she really liked it and that she was happy I cleaned them up and all that type of stuff. And one thing that taught me is just to be confident in what you cut. You know, have faith in the things that you create. With that being said, I appreciate you guys checking out this video. Make sure to check out some other videos on the channel. Like this one if you liked it, and sub to the channel. We're on the road to 100. Appreciate you guys hanging out, and I will see you guys on the next video.